Hey everyone, welcome to my second video on Gamesense and Mario Kart Wii. This one will be a little bit different, as I've organized the clips into 4 categories to discuss with you all. First, we have predicting shock and map reading. This first example is quite simple, but as we go on they will get more complex. Let's begin. In this first clip, Last will be touching the item set after 30 seconds, which is the first time shock can be obtained. Since he's so far behind, it's likely he will use it early if he pulls it, so I use my bill once he hits the set and I dodge. This next clip is on Mario Circuit 3. This track is short and the minimap is quite large, so it's relatively easy to tell what items the players in the back are using, aka map reading. I fortunately changed star to star last set lap 2 and I see Last not taking the shortcut, but then I see him shrooming on the map through the wall cut. Nobody has shock. Knowing this information, I hold my star another item set as there's no chance I will dodge, and I wait until second set to use. Lucky for me, they pulled it first set lap 3. Had I chained my star first set and pulled a golden or triple shrooms, I'd probably lose the race. This is a different Mario Circuit 3 race where I get really lucky and chain my star to Mega in 6th. I check the map when the players in the back are around last set, and I see Last go around both cuts. The chance of him having shock is extremely high, so I chain my Mega first set and do my best to cut off only a little bit of off-road as I don't want to dodge in the middle of the dirt. On this Sherby clip, I got powed after set while in a standstill, so I went backwards to try for shock or a star. Since I pull a golden, I burn it for another item at first set. If you didn't notice, the player in 11th skipped last set lap 1 and got a boxing cave set after 30 seconds, so I'm guessing he has shock. I use my star early here thinking he might chain into second set, but he continues to use nothing. I don't try to star him because it's my best interest to try and dodge, as it will be difficult to catch up without a shock since the pack is already spread out. Another item set goes by without him using anything, so it's obvious he has shock at this point. Last set on this track is slightly wide, so I just keep my eye on him to see what he does. Once I see him drift into the set, I use my star and dodge. Told you. On this BC Wii clip, I took star cut with a Mega to smuggle it into 3rd. Predicting shock on this track is really difficult as there are many item sets and target shock spots. I decide to use my Mega as bottom spots are approaching the first set, as using my dodge there covers the shock user chaining at the first ramp set, the 2 wavy road item sets, and also covers the target shock on first, which is what the shock user ultimately did. In this RBC race, it's late into the event and my team is in close contention with tag player. I know they have shock and he is holding it for his teammate in first to cancel a potential blue shell. Since our teams are close in points, I also know he's not going to shock if he sees me in a dodge, so I have to predict exactly where he will use it. I notice that his teammate in first has a massive lead, and his teammate with shock is decently far behind in last. If he doesn't shock at grass set, he will most likely be getting a double-digit spot, so I think he will use shock to get me just after boxes if I'm not in a dodge, as that would end my race and be very good for team player. Continuing this line of thinking, I hold my bill until just after the item set to first frame his shock, and I execute it perfectly. Now with all of these clips, I've been predicting the shock successfully, but trust me, that isn't always the case. In this LC clip, I used my bill as Last is about to touch second set lap 2, which will cover both second set and last set lap 2. Unfortunately for me, Last appeared to be holding a star, and then someone else ended up spamming it, getting me after set. In this MC clip, I see Last chain his star for a box at 30 seconds, and I keep track of him until the point where he's right behind me. I notice that his teammate chains a Mega behind him, so I think he will probably shock to dodge his teammate. But nope, he had Bill. To be fair, I would have been forced to use my star anyway because of the POW. So far, all of these clips have been playing around dodging shock, but it can also be useful to keep track of shock when you're running in the front. This clip started just after a shock was used, so I know it will be a while until the next one is available. I get lucky by pulling triple greens in second, and I just hold them because it's the best defense you can pull in this spot. The only item I need to worry about first hitting me with is a fake item box. I get a high trick on the loop to see over the blind slope, and then I enter cannon slightly wide in case first backs a fib on the cannon landing. Shock is available at this point, so I back my greens to avoid getting hypothetically shocked into them, and then I have to spam hop to avoid getting shot off the track by the boost pad. Had I not backed my greens, there was a good chance I would have been shocked into one of them and then immediately shot off the track as I was on a boost panel. Since it was the end of lap 3, that would have definitely killed my race. In this next section, I'll be showing some specific situations when it's in your best interest to hold an item in your inventory or flat out avoid boxes altogether. In this clip, I take Star Glitch while holding a golden and use it to get into a comfortable third place. I'm a decent bit away from both second and fourth, so I decide to roll one box and then just keep holding it in my inventory. This is because there's a 2.5% chance I can roll a Thundercloud, and as I'm not close to any other players, I would have to slow down a ton to try and pass it to fourth. I know the percentage of pulling that item is very low, but in third place, there's no item I can pull that can do much for me, except a 2.5% chance bomb. Second is too far away for red shells to connect, and a mushroom won't benefit me much here, as the glitch is blocked anyway. Once there are no more items, I trail my green. In this Koopa Cape race, top 3 has a massive lead and I'm in third. This time, I choose to avoid hitting boxes altogether because of the Thundercloud, of course. I'm so far away from fourth place that a red shell connecting to me is very unlikely. There are some shortcuts that would help me if I pull a shroom, but the chances of pulling one are low, so in my opinion, it's just not worth the risk. Once second gets hit, I touch a box as you can't pull a TC in second, and first ended up getting blued, so I won the race while practically playing itemless lap 3. This example was a bit different. I chain my star to a bomb, and I purposely hold it in my inventory because I want the player trailing a red to think he can hit me, when in reality it's a surprise attack bomb to kill him. This next section showcases some examples of general awareness. Here, I have to shroom tight to make sure the red targeting me breaks on the wall. After shrooming, I'm very close to first, and will have a very difficult time avoiding the radius of a blue shell if one comes. So I look backwards and actually see the blue coming mid-air, so I tap the brakes right before the boost pad to give myself a bit of leeway to avoid it. Had I not done this, I would have probably gotten caught in the blue and gotten a terrible spot, possibly even blued off the track. Thankfully, I survived and my team ended up getting top 2 this race.
Go Knicks!
Here, I'm itemless as the boxes didn't spawn in time, so I put my eye on the player behind me to see what he has. After he backs his green shells, I see him trailing a red, so I slow down to let him pass. After I get blued, there's a POW, which targets first pretty bad, making him have to go up the zipper early for an item box. Since I saw this, I simply go wide on the next turn in case he backs whatever he pulled. This BC3 clip is me keeping an eye out for the blue shell. There are a handful of long straightaways where you can see the blue from far away when looking backwards. On the last straight of BC3, you can see the blue all the way from the zigzag section. Seeing this, I plan to drop out of first, so second gets blued. I don't do this right away because my teammate is in third, and I know the player in second is skilled enough to also stop, which would cause my mate currently in third to get blued. So I first let go of my A button just a little bit to shorten the gap between me and second, and then flat out stop when I know the blue was very close. As expected, second stops as well, but it was too late for him, so he got blued. This last section is what I call funneling backspam. In this clip, there are 2 bananas on either side of the boost pad, with a spot in the middle perfect for an item to block off nearly the entire thing. If you're front running on Mushroom Gorge lap 1, this Goomba will always be just wide of this turn, making for a perfect spot to backspam. And finally, in this Waluigi Stadium clip, I noticed that there is a ground shell just in front of the item set, creating a divide in the road between the tight box on the right and the rest of the items, forcing players to pick a side. Knowing this, I decide to back my green mid-air so it will land and slowly go back up the ramp. My lead is big enough that the box I take will respawn in time by the time second gets to the item set, So, if he goes for the type box, which is very likely because of the ground shell, it will hit him. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed or learned something new. I also play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so let me know if you want to see a similar video on that game. I'm also trying for partner on Twitch, so I'd really appreciate it if you showed me some love on there too. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.